Hi, I'm Mary and Brandon, and this is another of the Tangent episodes. I think this is E? I've lost track. I think it's E. Why I started naming them with letters, I don't know. And who knows, after I get past 26, what am I going to do? I don't know. I think I've talked about this before. Double letters? I don't know. Anyway, can I say that again? I don't know. I just thought I would check in. I've just gotten back from SAFF, the Southeastern Animal Fiber Festival. Festival, Fair, SAFF. Fest. I think it's Fest or Festival. It doesn't matter. It's a great thing. And I taught 5 classes over 4 days. So I'm tired, but it was fun. We had a good time. I taught and for those of you who don't know, Southeastern Animal Fiber Festival is like a lot of fiber festivals. This is the one held in the Southeast. It's held over in Asheville at the Agricultural Center over there. And they have all of the animal barns on one part of the property. They have a huge, the building where they have all the vendors, which is really kind of nice. And then they have what they call the expo building, which is just this big cavernous building with concrete floors and, nothing, no walls, no nothing. And then as different groups come in, you've been in places like this before, I'm sure. When different groups come in, they bring in pipe and drape, or they'll bring in, if they used to have the quilt show over there, it's now over in the place where they're the vendors now is where they do the quilt show, because it's a beautiful brand new building. This is an older building, but it's still really great. But they put up pipe and drape, and they have, the whole floor, and it's a huge floor, is nothing but pipe and drape. And so you walk down, there are no walls or anything like that. So you walk down there, I guess 5 aisles. Yeah, they're sections going down, and they call them, I think my classroom was in M1 and M4 and M7. And there are other classrooms that are the L classrooms and the R classrooms, and I finally asked, this arbitrary, it's like Tent City, it just comes up, and there are these tan curtains that hang, 10 feet down, and you come out into the hallway, and it's nothing but this long corridor of just hanging, drapes. I swear, I feel like when I'm walking down, you never know what's going on behind the curtains. Are they having a dance? Are they having a seance? Actually, they're teaching classes, but it's still kind of, my imagination kind of runs wild. Anyway, I asked them last year, what were the aisles named after? I figured it might be for, Louisa Milhouse Rickenbacker, who was one of the first members of the one who first started SAFF, who was not even a person, I just made that up. It turns out that the L and the M and the R aisles, and the aisles are named, the classrooms are named, as I said, I was in M1, is left, middle, and right. I felt kind of stupid, but they don't tell you. It just says your classroom is, L1 or M4 or something like this. I had to just figure that out. I thought that was kind of funny. So the first day, let me do that. Sorry, I've got messages here. The first day, which is Thursday, the festival's not open, except they are teaching classes, and I think people are loading in on Thursday. So I had from 9 to noon. Yeah, from 9 to noon, I taught colorful edgings, ribbings and edgings for color work and for just adding color to your knitting. And I think I had some color works. I had a small class, but it was great. We had a great time. I had a whole bunch of corrugated ribs and Latvian braid and what I call a kiss of color, various things like that we went through. I showed them examples, and then they got to choose which one they wanted to work on, while for the rest of the class. So that was kind of fun. We had a tiny little room that had the lighting was not great, but it was a skinny room. It was M1, so it was not one of the big, huge, rooms. And they had 6, like 10-foot by 3-foot tables in the room. And I thought, there's no room for chairs. There's no room for people. There's no room for anything. And so I asked him to take away two of the tables, because I mean the people who work there have on their thing says put 6 tables in all rooms, or small rooms 6 tables, large. Well, I think they have put 8 tables in all the rooms. They'd already taken out 2. They left 6. I told them, I said, let's take out 2 more, please. And so we were going to put the tables against the walls so that everybody was kind of sitting around the outside, and then I could walk and talk in the middle. And my class came in and said, we'd rather be looking at each other, rather than have everybody's back to everything. And I thought that made sense. So we pushed, instead of the tables being along the sides of the wall, which is curtain, we went like this. Well, that meant there was like really little bit of room. So every time I went around to talk to people, I had to kind of go out into the aisle and out. It was kind of funny. But we couldn't have put one table because one table was too narrow because you had all this stuff on it. So the class that afternoon, I had 12 students. And the 12 students I was supposed to be in the same room, and the 12 students are not going to fit. They're not going to fit in that room. So I ended up asking them that, and they found me that they found out that M2 had nobody in it for the afternoon, which was a double-sized room. And so I just moved over there and didn't get any lunch, just grabbed, I think I had a Diet Coke, which I've kind of stopped drinking, which is a miracle. People who know me kind of think, oh my gosh, the world is ending, Varian stopped drinking Diet Coke. But I decided it was better, so I stopped. But I had one just to kind of keep going. I hadn't had one in months. And I think I had a piece of 2 pieces of like wheat bread with almond butter on the inside. Almond, like peanut butter, not dairy butter with almonds in it, but peanut butter, but really you get that, sorry. Anyway, we went, I moved everybody over there, and I'm trying to, people are coming in and they're sitting down, and I'm still trying to get my stuff kind of organized from being in the other room, and all of a sudden I'm standing there trying to say, okay, what do we do? We sit over here. Is that going to work? Is this going to work? This cute girl walks up to me, or woman, I should say woman. This cute woman walks up to me and she says, hi. I was like, hi. She says, I'm stalking you. I feel like I know you. And I was like, okay, is that good or is that bad? She says, no, I've just been watching your videos and I feel like I know you. I went, okay, well, I know how that feels, but she was absolutely adorable and wanted to learn this technique really badly because the afternoon class was a beginning stranded colorwork class. So that way she was absolutely adorable. Hi, Michelle. So we got, everything got along great. I had them all sitting around the center, and I was kind of like in a U-shaped with my tables with all my stuff on the front. So I could, every time I'd make a comment about a technique or something, I could pick up a sweater and say, like this, or like that, or like this hat, or like this whatever. And they were working on a project, and I would go around and just check on them, make sure that they were doing okay. They didn't need me, if they wanted me to show them something, were they having an issue? How was their attention? Did they have any questions? Individual attention. That's just what I had to do. And not had to do, wanted to do, because it's a good way for have people learn. And I looked up at one of the students, and I asked her, have you knitted in the round before? And she said, no. I said, do you know you're knitting inside out? And she said, that's what I've been told. And I went, actually, it's good for stranded work because it's good for tension. And I said, do you know why that's good for tension? Got any idea? And she said, no. And over here, I'm looking at the woman here, over here I had an engineer, and I just kind of pointed over here, and I said, why is that good for tension? I didn't look at her. And she said, because when you've got something inside out, the floats have got a longer way to travel, and so therefore a little bit longer and can't be tight. So when you put it right side out, the floats are not going to be too tight. It's a way to do tension. And this woman looked at me and she says, I did it on purpose just so you could, explain that to people. I said, oh, thank you. That's so nice. I don't think so. It was cute. We had a great time. We had, I had one, bless her heart, traveled 5 hours. She said she was traveling across the state of North Carolina. She got to Asheville, and her husband called her and said, did you mean to take this yarn that was on the bed? Because it's still sitting here on the bed. And so fortunately I had a whole bunch of stash yarn. It was no big deal. And so, but bless her heart, she felt like she was totally and absolutely behind because all these people kept coming in early and I was not ready to teach yet. So I was saying, here's your pattern, cast on, do, and, she wasn't late. She just was not there between lunch where everybody was like trying to figure out how to get it going. So, but we had a great time. We laughed. We had fun. I think I turned some people on to stranded color work, converts, which is really good. I need to stop this. Hold on. Let me stop this and fix that. Okay. What that was all about is that while I'm talking to you, I'm getting, notifications that I've got an email or CNN, something happened on CNN, and this thing comes climbing down like this, and I can't see. You can't see it, but I can. It kind of goes like this, and it's very disconcerting. So I am just turn it on to airplane mode so I don't get any notifications anymore. So sorry, but I think we had a good time. They were laughing, and we had a great time, and I got them hopefully started on something. I gave them a pattern I have a teaching pattern that's a hat. And it's either a hat in DK weight, or it's a headband in DK weight, or it's a hat in fingering weight. All the same patterns, all the same charts, and we'll talk about that same concept in just a minute. And this was what I used to teach. So we got that going. That was Thursday. Friday morning I got up and went back, and we talked beyond beginning stranded color work. So I had 8 or 9, 7 or 8, 7 maybe, students who had stranded color work before, but kind of so they weren't beginners. So we talked about where you can get yarn, where some of the sources for patterns, weaving in long floats, weaving in floats going around a corner of. I had a couple that were dropping and picking up, which is perfectly fine, but they wanted somebody to show them how to do two-handed. So it was a lot of fun. I got to do all the really geeky stuff. Well, the semi-geeky stuff, because the really geeky stuff happened on Sunday, but the, somewhat geeky stuff for what I do. So that was kind of fun. I had Friday afternoon, a friend of mine came and I met her for lunch up around that area. And then she and I went back and walked through the place where all the vendors are. And it's the first time I'd done it. So it's the first time I'd seen everybody over in the vendors. So that was a lot of fun to go over and kind of see who was vending. And my friends Fiber Seed were there, who I see them in lots of places. So Lindsay, hey Lindsay. There were people from the Green Mountain Spinnery was there out of Vermont. And there's just a whole bunch of people that I love to see their stuff, and lots of fleeces, lots of roving, lots of hand-dyed yarn. I mean, it was a lot of fun. Lots of woodwork and pottery and stuff. And in the main building and then out in the barn, there's even more people out there. So that was a lot of fun as well. We left there and walked over to where the animals were. If you follow me on Instagram, where I'm Varian Brandon on Instagram, I actually took a picture of one of the Jacob sheep, which are not big. I mean, they're not big, but they had these horns. And this one, particular one, had horns here and had horns here, and then had ears down like this. Was the strangest looking creature you ever saw. I love them to death. They are really wonderful. I don't know how they are. If anybody knows how they are with how their fleece is, how their, what their yarn, what yarn comes, what is it like? I don't know, but they were there. I have some friends over at Hidaway. It's called Hidaway Farms, which is over in Hendersonville. And they have Shetland sheep. And then they've just started getting Icelandic sheep a couple of years ago. And so they like the Icelandics because of the long, what do you call it? Their hair is long. Can you tell I'm not a spinner? Sorry. Long hair. However, they are not as hardy as the Shetland sheep, which I find fascinating, that the Vikings are not as hardy as the Scots. Actually, that doesn't bother me a bit. Never mind. I'm not going there. Sorry. I'm just trying to make a funny and it didn't work. Anyway, thanks. But they couldn't handle the warm, because we still get pretty warm here in the summertime. But the Shetland sheep seem to be fine. The Icelandic sheep, not all of them, but some of them were having trouble with parasites and all sorts of stuff. They were just having to do a lot of stuff in the summertime to kind of keep them going. So what they're trying to do right now is to breed the Shetland to the Icelandic to see if they can't get a hardy sheep with a long, is that called a staple? A long hair. So I was thinking about it later. I should have mentioned it to her, but I was thinking about this later. They should call them Shetlandic, right? Isn't that the combination of the two? Shetlandic? Okay, that was mine. I don't know what you call them. They may have, anybody who knows anything about sheep, they probably already doing this and they already have a name, and these people are just doing what everybody else is doing. My friends over at Hitaway. But I didn't go last year because I was teaching the entire time, and I don't know whether I got there the year before, but maybe two years ago. I always go by because I always love to see how their sheep are doing and what's going on and speak to them, and I get to go in the sheep barns and go over there and see what the llamas and the alpacas are like, and it's kind of nice. So I did that. That was Friday afternoon. Saturday morning I taught a steeking class, so I had people cutting their knitting for the very first time, and we talked about the uses of steeks and how you figured that out. And I did something experimented for securing the steeks. Is I got them to cut a square. To make a square, and then they did a crocheted secure, which is a crocheted chain for anybody who's done that. A crocheted chain, it's hard to say, but only halfway up their swatch. And then they crossed over and went down the other side. So half the swatch had a crocheted secure on it. The other half did not. And I said, all right, so now we're going to cut all the way up and just compare the two methods to see how it works. And I had one with alpaca and one with, the rest of them all had wool. And some of it was really soft wool and some of it was, different sort of rustic. It was pretty neat. So nobody had any problems with the fact that they just cut it and went. And they then I had them pick up stitches at the edge of the steek to see if they're going to do a sleeve or a ribbing down the front of a cardigan, something like that. So they learned how to do that, and that was fine. We got through. That was Saturday morning. Got through right before lunchtime. Then Sunday afternoon, I taught a class that should not have been taught Sunday afternoon, but that's where they put me. So we were converting flat patterns written to be knitted flat into patterns so that you could knit them in the round. A lot of math, a lot of concepts, a lot of details. Sunday afternoon, after the whole thing started on Friday morning, or I started on Thursday morning, but the people students were coming. Some of them came on Thursday too. Oh, it was all I could do, just kind of hold it together. It was pretty bad, but we got through it. And I think my students learned how to do that. It's great if you are awake and you got the concept, and it's a good class to take because it makes you understand knitting in the round. So it's and constructing garments in the round, bottom up, not top down. I do bottom up sweaters. Sorry. I do think that when I teach that again, I'm sure I'll teach it again. I'm going to have to actually make it like a child sweater or a teddy bear sweater in the round, top down, just so I can have experience to do that. My first sweater was in the round, top down, but I was like 9. I have no idea where it went, 8 or 9. So, okay, that was SAFF. Now. The other thing I was going to show you, I've shown you this one on the needles. I've shown you pictures of it off the needles. This is the hat for Canuga. This is the top of it. It is a slouchy hat. Let me take the glasses off this time so I don't get the glasses in my hat. Now, it's always adorable when you put them on this way, but they come back and they do this, which I think is kind of cute. It just has it, and if you can see, I don't know if you can see the back of it. Can you see the back of it? Maybe. See how it does all this. Hopefully you saw that. I have no idea. I can take it off this way, show it to you this way. That's the top of the back, right? So that's that. This is fingering weight, Shetland, elemental effect Shetland. Okay, 6 colors and a fingering weight. All right, I redid it. Same charts, same everything. I don't even put my glasses on. I'm going to put this hat on. This is the second hat. This is the same exact charts. Now only 3 colors, and it has a little bit of a round top in it too, like that. So this is, it comes out with the DK weight a little bit longer, and this one hadn't been blocked, so it's going to look a lot better when it gets blocked. But this comes out, like that. As I said, it's not been blocked. So I think that's kind of, nice. It's very warm. It's very easy for somebody who's just beginning. That's a nice thing. And the good thing about this pattern is that there's no decreases until you get to the very top. So that if I could take this off, I could see if I can show it to you this way, rather than trying to flip around. So then, let's try this. So that's the top that's in the back. So it doesn't have a name yet, so I'll have to figure that one out. But that's what I'm teaching at Kanuga. Kanuga is you've heard me talk about this before, Kanuga is the knitting and quilting retreat that I do every January. It's Martin Luther King weekend. This year's the dates are the 17th. Did I even put them on here? Yeah, the 17th through the 20th of January. So you have an option to come in early on the 16th, and you have an option to stay over one more night and leave on Monday morning instead of Sunday after lunch. And I've got 6 classes from beginning for anybody who wants to bring a friend who doesn't know how to knit, to a lace shawl, a reversible lace scarf, entrelac, Christmas socks, and then my stranded color work here. Or you can bring your own project and just sit and do your own thing. I also got some quilting classes, which I've got to work on today because that's a whole other issue. But I've got some wonderful instructors. I just got to get things up on the website. So, but that is, and if you want to come, and bring a friend and come on, we have a really good time. We have, there are big stone fireplaces. We laugh a lot. People have been coming for years, so they know each other, but we're always welcoming new people, so it's always fun. But the early bird, what they call the early bird registration, ends on November the 9th. So you'll need to get your registration in by November the 9th to get the 30%, or I think it's 30%. It's a big, huge discount by November the 9th. After that, it'll go back up to full price. And if you're used to going to these retreats where you pay for the classes only, and then you have to pay, and you're on your own to find your own hotel room, and you eat your own food and that sort of thing, this is going to look expensive, because included in the registration fee is your room and 3 meals a day plus snacks, and your classes, and access to all of the hiking trails and all the stuff around Kanuga. So there's a lot included in that. Okay, now, last thing I was going to tell you about, throw this on the floor. Sorry. Last thing I'm going to tell you about is that this coat behind me is called Arion, A-E-R-I-O-N. And we have finally got, I finally got my act together. And this coat, the kit for this coat is now on sale. That kit includes 50 skeins of yarn, a pattern. We are throwing in the hat pattern that goes with it, so you get 2 patterns, and the yarn for the coat. If you make a shorter version of the coat, you'll have enough to do the hat. If not, then you'll have a hat pattern or you may have some. Actually, you know what? I think that we've put it enough that if you're frugal with your yarns, you'll have enough to do the hat. Maybe. We'll see. But also I am doing videos. There are 11 videos that are going up to go with this on, that'll be public videos, but they are, like I have it called my technique sample, which is a tiny little version of this coat where I walk through all the different techniques, that are used in the coat. So it's kind of like a knit along and kind of not, because I didn't want to make the coat again. It's a lot of knitting. But once is fun. I mean, it was fun. I mean, the problem was that I say in the videos, the problem was is that the bottom of it, see, this is the bottom of it like this. Once you got that done and you start, and then you have to knit from that all the way up to at least where the sleeves start. That to me was like, will it ever end? But it finally does, because I was so bored. But it's kind of like mindless knitting. It's 2 shades of green and black and a simple pattern. And you come to here and then you start putting the sleeves, then you have the sleeve work, and the sleeve work does, all this stuff in the sleeve, which is really kind of a lot of fun. And then you pick up for the what are those things called, borders and the kick pleats, and there's all this stuff going on. But I walk you through step by step by step. So, and then we're also doing I think it's a Yahoo group that somebody was asking. I think we're going to try a Yahoo group. We may come back and do a Facebook group. I just don't know yet. But right now we're going to try the Yahoo group, because I think some people are kind of staying away from Facebook right now. I don't know. I'm not. Don't judge me. I'm just saying this. It may not work. We may go back to Facebook. I don't know. But we're going to try. Bottom line, you'll have a group for a group discussion so that you can ask questions, or you can, post pictures and that kind of thing. So all of that is happening. I've been busy. I've been lots of busy. So I still got lots of busy to do. I have to, but I'm going to release the videos for the coat. The first one is going out, I think, by the end of the week. And then one a week after that until we get to the end. So, and then they'll be up there forever. So if you want to wait, if you're not sure about buying the kit, if you want to wait and start watching the videos and see whether you think you can do the techniques that I talk about, then do that. And you get through and you go, oh, it's not that hard. Then you can join in. So there you go. All right. I think that's about enough from me right now. What I've been doing. I wish I could tell you I don't have any bear stories. I don't have any raccoon stories. I don't have any of that kind of stuff. I just have that I've been busy. So, all right, people. Good to know you're out there. How about that? Thank you for coming back. If I hate to do this because everybody on YouTube does this, but if please subscribe, or hit the button and do all the stuff. You know what you have to do. That would be nice. That means that I know you're there and watching. So thank you so much, guys. I'm Marian Brandon. You can find me at all the usual places, and including vbrand at Brandon Knitting Designs, and my website is Brandon Knitting Designs, and on Ravelry I'm Marian Brandon. And more importantly, not more importantly, but most of the time my social media is Instagram, and that Instagram goes to Facebook. I didn't mean to start this. I'm sorry, you know what I'm talking about. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.